Hello, welcome to Conversation of the Natural Reader. By Uh, it's good for also doing homework and reading books in general. It actually has uses for proofreading essays and homework, for missing words, wrong words, that whole nine. Um, it's good for converting printed words into digital text and then speech afterward, as well as using it as a plugin for websites on Google Chrome. Um, Lastly, it offers synthesized voices in many different languages and styles. So, um, well, we'll get there when we get there. So you'll see when we do our demonstration. Oh, I exited out of my presentation. I'm going back in. I'm going in. All right, there we go. All right, so here, as you can see, I put free under the two parts of this um, particular app that are free. The first one is obviously the text to speech. The second one is for the various document formats, so you can do PDFs, you can use DocX and other such things. The other ones, there are a variety of different paid plans. It's a one-time fee, and we'll get to the cost in a minute. But depending on the plan that you use and the thing that you purchase, um, like this first one here, the where it says OCR with printed documents, it tells you right under there it can convert printed characters into digital text, which I thought was really cool. And it'll allow you to make them so you can edit them for word processing. Another one, if you look at the ebooks, it actually can take stuff from Kindle and from ebook, just apps in general, and turn them into speech and audio files. Obviously, text to audio files like MP3, so you can take things on the go, put it on an iPod or whatever device that you use, and just listen to them whenever you like at your convenience. And so on and so forth. There are a few other things here. Pronunciation editor, I like that a lot. You can actually manually modify the pronunciation of certain words in case the text is not being translated or spoken properly in whatever audio version you're using. There are limitations. It can't read specific words, and it reads in chunks. So it'll take the printed document and it'll chunk it, and it'll read that chunk, and then it moves on to the next chunk. So it's not like you can highlight a section or highlight a couple of words and have it read just that. It has to read the whole chunk before it gets to the part that you want it to read if you want to do something specific like that. The free version doesn't have all the features as we mentioned before. If we flip back there, it only has two of those features are free. The rest come in various plans. You have to have an account to use this, and obviously um, the account is obvious because you have to pay for it. But there's also the fact that you do need the internet. If you have internet access, you can use it. Without it, it's pretty much just not possible. All right, costs. There are several plans. There's a lot to limit or to list, but the limited version is obviously the free version. Comes with two features. The paid versions, like I said, there's a lot of combos of what features you might or might not want. On the low end of that, it's about $100. It's $99.50 for a one-time purchase, and you'll have access to all those things. The highest end plan with everything involved is a one-time purchase of basically $200. Um, the EDU and commercial plans, they are apparently free. They have trials for that, but then there's a $79 per year pay for after that. The EDU one is not available on the website per se. I think you have to go through your school and they have to make the contact for you. That said, because of COVID-19, the EDU one is actually free for students as long as their institution, as it says there, educational institution was closed due to COVID-19. So that's a nice little thing that they were trying to do for the community, I suppose. Um, there are different scenarios. So there's a free version. Children are learning to do peer review projects. They can actually do like short essays. And like children with dyslexia or emerging readers can upload essays to Natural Reader to listen to the essays to provide that peer review. They can also make use of some of those program features that we mentioned before that are used for editing and what have you. Um, but again, like I said, it depends on the free version versus the paid. The paid version, obviously, you always get more when you use the paid versions. Like you can make MP3s to listen to stories multiple times and convert things to digital text and what have you. So those are the two kind of scenarios that I put up there. I know I kind of read them a little out of sorts and didn't even read the paid version one. I just kind of explained it, but um, that's kind of the difference in their function. All right, so let's do the demo. I'm going to back out of this. I'm going to go over to Chrome. I actually had already, I'm going to get rid of it. I had uploaded a doc, but if you look over here, I have a demo PDF here. I just simply just click it and drag it. Once I drop it, it converts it for me. So while we are looking at this particular block of text, up here, if I just hit play, it'll start. Well, let me set the reading speed to 0. If I hit play, it reads.
Use of assistive technology in inclusive education, making room for diverse learning needs. Fawzia Khurshid Ahmad. Introduction. The concept of inclusive education.
All right, so I'm going to pause it there because that's pretty basic. When you click here, you have many, for the free version, many language options. So there's different versions of the US. Here's the one with Fred.
The concept of inclusive education has brought with itself a much-needed share of equality in approach for the education.
And so that's kind of an older one. They have Samantha Victoria. They have Daniel, if you want a British accent.
The concept of inclusive education has brought with itself the much-needed share of equality in approach for the education of the disabled.
There is actually other languages as well. So if you wanted to do Monica from Spain, check her out.
The concept of inclusive education has brought with itself the much-needed share of equality in approach for the education of the disabled by.
That was quite fast. And we can adjust, as you saw, the voice speeds, and we will play with that, but I wanted to just do a couple more demos of other languages. They have Anna, who does German. Again, this is the free versions, free voices.
The concept of inclusive education has brought with itself the much-needed share of equality in approach for the education of the disabled by giving them a leveled field to richly exhibit their differential abilities.
That kind of sounded comical to me, but only because it sounded as though it was reading it in English with a German accent. Let's try doing Portuguese from Brazil.
The concept of inclusive education has brought with itself the much-needed share of equality in approach for the education of the disabled by giving them a level.
So something I'm noticing, actually, that I didn't catch the first time around, is that the translation, it reads it directly. So while it picks up some words and translates them, other words it might read as is with an accent. So that's something to consider. But again, this is the free version. It's a little more simplistic. Now, if you look at the premium version, you not only have a higher class and a higher grade of accents and languages. I believe the translations are better as well. So here, let's do a sampling of, let's go with Karen, because why not? And we'll have her read. I have a limited amount of time with these upgraded versions, so let's hit play.
The concept of inclusive education has brought with itself the much-needed share of equality in approach for the education of the
So there's different voices. Let's throw on, just for comparison, let's look at Andrea from Portuguese here. Let's see if they translate directly or if it's similar to what I noticed before.
THE concept of inclusive education has brought with itself THE much-needed share of equality in approach for the education.
So it sounds as though it's a better version of translation, but it sounds as if it did the same thing. Read certain words as they were with an accent when it couldn't translate. Some things to note with translations, some voices, or not some voices, but some sentences, when they translate to other languages, they rearrange the order of the words to fit that language. So that does play a role here as well. That said, I imagine for somebody who is learning how to read, or like as an emergent reader who maybe might have a different language background that still might be useful, being able to hear and see translated words into a language they're familiar with, surrounded by other words they might not be familiar with, to help provide context clues. This is the premium voices. There's also a plus series of voices, which are equally as, I guess, upgraded. Let's try Matthew, see how he does.
The concept of inclusive education has brought with itself the much-needed share of equality and approach for the education of the disabled by giving them a leveled field to rightly exhibit their differential abilities.
All right, so that's what Premium Plus gives you. Let's go back to the free, so I don't waste too much more time with that. Let's go back to Alex. He's kind of a go-to. Here's a sampling of a different part of the paragraph. See how I mentioned chunking before? It gives you chunks of text. So I'm going to click this chunk of text here.
Effective technology integration can help provide all learners the ability to access the general education.
So that's how that sounded normal speed. Let's say I'm having a hard time understanding and I want to slow him down. I can take it from the 0, the neutral speed, to -3. See how slow he reads that.
Effective technology integration can help provide all learners the ability to access the general education curriculum.
All right, so not only did he speak much more slowly, he almost sounded like he was a little tipsy. That said, let's try it a little bit faster. Let's go with a +3 instead of a -3. And hit play.
Effective technology integration can help provide all learners the ability to access the general education curriculum.
As we can see, it's much faster. Let's try a 9. I want to hear how fast that is.
Effective technology integration can help provide all learners the ability to access the general education curriculum, offering them multiple means to complete their work with greater ease and independence in performing tasks that they were formerly unable to accomplish or had great difficulty in accomplishing. Robert, 62. Ahmad.
That sounded to me a lot like the sort of thing you'd hear on a commercial for any kind of item where there are terms and conditions. All right, so there is a bit of our demo with the first portion. I mentioned in Chrome that you can use it as a bit of assistive technology. It's really simple. Once you have it all set up, you come right over here to this little N for Natural Reader. Click it, and you'll see that I have a play button and a few little minor options. But if I just hit play,
One of the biggest problems I encounter as a resource room teacher is the self-esteem of the students in my classes. After years of disappointing academic experiences, their confidence is low and their motivation has declined. Combine those points with the peer pressure, bullying, and stresses of middle school, and the students do not have a positive outlook on their education.
I won't go any further with that, but when I initially tested it, and you can see I kind of left off at a certain point, it started right at the top of the page, and it worked its way all the way down, jumping from piece to piece, giving good stops and good breaks, and it reads pretty smoothly. All in all, I really do like this product quite a bit. But let's get back to the presentation. So the demo has been given. Lastly, here for evaluation, there are strengths and opportunities. With the free version, there are some features that you have access to. It definitely can read at different speeds still. The plugin is still available for Chrome, so you can check out different websites and have it read to you what the website says. The weaknesses, obviously it costs more. If you like that MP3 technology, the conversion technology, and the other features that aren't included in the free version. There are plenty of free voices, but those voices tend to be a little bit more robotic or monotone, and you still need a login. So you'll need that internet access. So it's not as though you can go anywhere and use this particular technology like that. Would I use a tool in my classroom? I would say no, not for elementary students necessarily. But if a child needed text-to-speech at home, I would definitely recommend it. I suppose if I was considering working with a student who had a need like dyslexia or what have you, this probably would be good for that as well. It's really situational. There are plenty of other technology out there that can be used for that purpose. So again, like I said, it depends on the student, depends on the situation. But as a general classroom tool, I don't know that I would use it in that regard. That said, that's the end of my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed.